What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, bringing you yet another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle today. Today's opponent is going to be Immortal Fox, and he is a subscriber/follower on Twitter, so I'll be sure to link him in the description below so you can find his Twitter and all that stuff. Now, before we get into the teams and what this match consists of, just want to remind you guys that as long as this video reaches the magical number of 50 likes, we're going to continue those double daily Wi-Fi battle uploads for you guys, and all that fun stuff, all that exciting stuff. It's not really exciting, but I just felt like saying that. Anyway, now this is kind of like a mixed tier match. I don't remember exactly what we agreed on when we were discussing this beforehand, but looking at the teams, this is very mixed tiers. So on his side, he's got some really cool Pokemon. He's got the Infernape, Milotic, Alakazam, which is going to be the Mega, because he has no other Megas, or no other potential Megas, rather. Hydreigon, and then it gets really funky down at the end here with Carbink and Rotom Fan, which is absolutely amazing. Haven't seen Carbink in forever. Haven't seen Rotom Fan in a Wi-Fi battle yet. Have not faced one at all. On my side, of course, what do I do when it's going to be a mixed tier match? I bring all underused stuff, because that's just how I roll. I don't know. I do that a lot. I probably shouldn't. I'd probably have a much better shot to win if I brought one or two OU Pokemon, but this time I did not. So I am bringing a Focus Sash Houndoom. That is not a Mega Houndoom. It didn't really do anything in this battle because I used it very poorly. And yeah, it was just a misplay when it died. So that is that, but I'm just kind of testing it out. I'll probably use it a few more times. I do have the Claydol, which is just a bulky set for rapid spinning and stealth rocking, all of that stuff. I have a physically attacking Swords Dance Lucario. Not Mega, of course. I don't use banned stuff. We have Venomoth. You guys have seen that on Battle Spot. I've used it extensively. It's just a Quiver Dance Sleep Powder kind of set with Bug Buzz and Giga Drain as well. No Baton Pass. And then I usually run Choice Band on my Braviary, but today I am running a Choice Scarf and Mega Ampharos. So those are the teams, and that's pretty much how this is going to go. I decided to lead off with my Ampharos to get the switch priority with a Volt Switch. So that is pretty cool. He's going to lead off with his Tarzan, which is an awesome nickname for an Infernape, I have to say. I stay in here and go for the Volt Switch regardless of him having Infernape out here, because one, I resist the Fire Stab, and two, if he wants to go for the Close Combat, he's just going to die to a Volt Switch, because Close Combat's not going to one-hit KO me. Pretty sure. I'm just too bulky for that. He does just indeed go for the U-turn, and that is fine by me. I don't see a Life Orb, so it could potentially be Banded, it could potentially be Scarfed, it could potentially be Focus Sash, so there's a lot of options going on here. He brings in that Haxdow, and that's going to be his Rotom Fan, and that takes about 50% from Volt Switch. That is so much damage, so much damage. So I bring in Claydol, and the first thing he does is go for Confuse Ray. That floored me. I guess it should have been expected, given the fact that his name is referring to hacks, but geez, I'm going to hit myself in confusion, because that is just what I do every time I am confused. That's how it works. That's how my life works, man. I was trying to set up a Stealth Rocks, and that did not work out very well. He's now going to switch out and probably like try to set up on me or just do something like that. He's going to bring in his my babe. I don't know how you're supposed to say that. Yeah, his Milotic. I'm going to get the rocks up, thankfully, no more confusion. Don't like that confusion. Now it's pretty obvious now we have wall on wall here. He's going to Toxic me. That's the thing. I mean, I know he could go for Scald, that would be super effective, but he's going to Toxic. That's just what it is. So I'm going to switch into my Lucario. I felt like that was an obvious move. So I'm going to be immune to the Toxic, and now I can set up a Swords Dance. I'm not worried about Scald Burn if he wants to try for that, because I am carrying the Lumberry. And I don't know how common that is on Lucario, but I find that it works out well, especially if you want to come in on Ghost types that like to Willow you. And there, he does get the burn on the first try, which just seems to happen to me all the time, so that is fine by me. I have my +2, I used up my Lumberry, in comes Dad Haxdow again, and he's going to take a lot of damage from the Stealth Rocks. The Stealth Rocks are so beneficial for me because, one, it does so much damage to Rotom, but it also is going to break any potential Focus Sashes that he has other than Alakazam, unless he's running Synchronize on it. Magic Guard obviously will not allow Focus Sash to be broken, but from the looks of things, it looked like that was going to be his Mega, so I wasn't too worried about it. It turns out he's not running Magic Guard, either way because he takes damage from the Stealth Rocks. Not that it matters. He doesn't have to keep the Focus Sash intact because there is none. But that, whatchamacallit, yeah, that, I can't think of the name. Infernape! Just totally brain farted. The Infernape could potentially have the Focus Sash, so that's why having the rocks is beneficial for me. He is going to go for the Protect, and I decided to go for the Bullet Punch because that would do a lot of damage to this thing at +2. And he's now going to withdraw. I really thought that a Disable might be coming, but I wasn't sure. I've seen that before. Protect, Disable, Alakazam. It actually works out so well because of how fast it is. I decided to just stay and go for a Bullet Punch, though, and see what he does. And he brings in the Tarzan again, that Infernape. So if it had the Focus Sash, that is gone, but it still potentially could be choiced. I'm going to bring in Claydol here to take the Mach Punch, and I take that very nicely. And I don't even know if that does leftovers. It might not. I don't think it did. But judging by the fact that he had U-turn, he's got Mach Punch, I'm really not thinking that it's a Focus Sash set at this point. I just wanted to be sure with the rocks. But that's typical of a Choice Band set, so that may have been what he was running here. I'm going to go for the Earthquake, and he's going to switch into his Milotic, which doesn't take too much damage from that at all. And it still might be specially defensive, because I'm not invested in my attack. And I also have Ice Beam on this thing, so I'm not invested in special attack either. And it's just basically for coverage, and people like to bring in dragons and stuff like that, so Ice Beam works out very nicely with Claydol. Anyway, I'm going to switch into my Ampharos now, and he's going to go for the Scald. I don't mind a burn on this whatsoever. That does not bother me. And there you go, another burn on the first Scald. Not cool. Not cool. That's the second time that's happened. But like I said, it's really not that big of a deal. It's not like it's a physical attack or anything. It's not game-changing. It's not game-breaking. None of that. He doesn't have anything to switch into this Ampharos. He does not have a ground type, so he has to switch in something that can take electric type moves. So he switches in the Carbink because it's just bulky. It still takes a good like 40%-ish from that Volt Switch. So much damage. So I'm going to Volt Switch into my Cowpay, my Lucario. I can one-shot this thing with a Bullet Punch because it's 4 times effective. I really predicted the switch here, though. I really thought he was going to switch in something, anything but Carbink, because I didn't think he was just going to fodder it. So I go for the close combat, and he stays in, goes for the Stealth Rocks, and that is unfortunate. That is really unfortunate because now Houndoom has his Focus Sash broken. Unless I can get Claydol in here to rapid spin them away. So I'm just going to go for another close combat again, because it's going to kill him, and if he decides to switch, something else is going to get nailed. So that's just what I went for. He just leaves the Carbink in the die. He, I guess, didn't really want it or didn't really need it at this point, so he just let it go. In comes the Alakazam again. He's going to take some more Stealth Rock damage. He's going to trace my Inner Focus. That's right, Inner Focus. I'm not running Justified. I don't know why, but I'm just not. So, Bullet Punch. That does a good amount of damage. He's going to go for the Psychic, and with all of the defense drops, that's going to kill me. I don't think it would have mattered anyway. I'm pretty sure that a Psychic from a Mega Alakazam would have just destroyed my life from that range, regardless of the special D drops. Lucario is not that bulky anyway. So in comes the Houndoom, and I probably should have brought in Claydol at this point, but I just kind of bring in Houndoom and let him die. That was just a complete misplay on my part. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't remember what was going through my head, but it was a bad, bad play. There was literally no reason to bring him in at all, because I'm not even running Sucker Punch on it. It's not a mixed set, it's a special set. So I either need to put Sucker Punch on him or just learn to use him a little bit better. This is the first time I used him, so yeah, it didn't work out too well. So yeah, Mega Alakazam is going to go down to Claydol of all things. And if I can do that, I should have been able to Rapid Spin and then bring in Houndoom, I guess. And then I would have been able to kill Mega Alakazam. I'd rather have Houndoom around than Claydol, because Claydol doesn't do too much for me other than, you know, set up the rocks and such. So in comes the Hydreigon. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm totally rambling right now. But he does bring in the Hydreigon and go for the Dark Pulse. That's going to finish me off. No way I'm living that. And now in comes the MVP for this team, Braviary. Going to come in, outspeed this Hydreigon, and go for the Superpower. That's right. Choice Scarf Braviary is a thing, and it is a monster. Absolute monster. It's got U-Turn, it's got Brave Bird. I think I put Thrash on this thing. I mean, I guess you could use Return or Crush Claw as well if you wanted to. Yeah, and the Superpower. I don't know if I said that twice, but I don't care if I did. Those are its moves, and it's just absolutely amazing. I love it. I love it so much. It just wrecks everything. I don't understand how this thing could possibly have been NU last generation. Same thing with Mandibuzz. How in the world could it have been NU last generation? I realized that Mandibuzz got the buff to knock off, it got the buff to defog, but it was so bulky without that stuff. It didn't get buffed in its stats. So, I don't know. I am totally ranting. I need to stop. It's out of control. He's going to bring in the Milotic, he's going to recover, he's going to set up the light screens, then that's just going to ruin my day pretty much, because now Thunderbolt is not going to do nearly as much damage. Only does about 30%, but speaking of that hacks from earlier in the match, Payback, that's right, he gets a Thunderbolt Power Hacks, 10% chance, and I will take it at this point. I will absolutely take it. Really doesn't do too much for him. It does activate the Marvel Scale if he has it, but other than that, doesn't really do a whole lot. And the Thunderbolt is going to take him down to about 30% of his HP, or maybe 25%. He's going to go for the Scald, and that's still not going to kill me because it is a resisted hit, even though it was a crit. And the burn is going to finish me off, though. So that is a bit unfortunate, but Mega Ampharos did put in some work in this battle. He took quite a few hits. He took, plenty of burn damage. So I cannot really be upset with the performance of this Ampharos. If anything, it makes me want to use Ampharos even more. So in comes the Braviary. I can easily take this thing out with a Brave Bird. Nothing that's left on his team wants to take a Brave Bird, and by anything that's left on his team, I mean Infernape, because that is his last Pokemon, and as long as it's not Choice Scarfed, and I don't think it is, that's a very uncommon set. Not to say that he wouldn't be running that, but if anything, I would guess that it would be Choice Banded. I'm not positive, but that would be my guess. I'm sure he can confirm that for us in the comments or something like that, but this Infernape is just going to straight up die to a Brave Bird, and that is going to be the match. So it ended up getting a lot closer towards the end of the match. I kind of was running away with things at the beginning. I got off to a really good start. I made some really good predictions, and then I kind of started to fall apart and deteriorate as the match went on. Misplaying Houndoom, just basically throwing it away, and then throwing away Claydol as well. And yeah, things just were not going too well for me at that point. So now that I think about it, I think I still had Venomoth left. I don't recall if Venomoth even got into this battle. I don't think it did. Now that I think about it, I don't think Venomoth even got into the battle. That is besides the point, though. Like I said, my play kind of got worse as the match went on, so it ended up getting closer towards the end. I absolutely love some of the Pokemon that he was bringing here, especially the Rotom Fan, not the Confuse Ray part, but the fact that he was using Rotom Fan in the first place is pretty darn cool. Props for that. Might want to think about getting rid of the Confuse Ray, though, because that's kind of... I don't know about that. Not everyone likes that. Carbank, very cool. We didn't really get to see what kind of set it was running other than Stealth Rocks. I mean, it may have been a dual screen set. Who knows? But yeah, just definitely some cool Pokemon. Cool match, and I'm sure we'll have another one, so that is that. So that's it for this time, guys. Thank you very much for watching, as always, and do not forget to leave a like on this video because that thumbs up does help out so much. I will see you guys for the next battle, but until then, game on.